The Blackmagic doesn't have that, does it? No. Can you tell, is this the Fuji camera or is this the Blackmagic? Spoiler, I actually like the camera for video and I would buy it. I would actually buy the camera. There's only one thing preventing me from buying it. So this is like a sequel to my last video I made about the Fuji X100 Mark VI that ruffled a lot of your feathers. It sounded like I was insulting your parents or your kids or your wife or something. Dude, it's just a camera. This is just YouTube. I'm writing my opinion. Don't get so upset, just chill. Don't get so upset, relax, breathe, listen to my opinions. A lot of you wrote you couldn't get halfway through the video. I understand. Thank you for watching halfway at least. I appreciate that. The algorithm appreciates that. Very kind of you. It's not meant to be clickbait or to try to get you to watch the video. I honestly do not like that camera for photos. This video is going to be about the video feature. And if you don't want to watch halfway, if you don't want to watch to the end, spoiler, I actually like the camera for video and I would buy it. I would actually buy the camera. There's only one thing preventing me from buying it. Other than that, I would buy this camera for video and I would recommend it for video. Just to go back again to my last video, now that I've had time to think about it, the only person that this camera is good for, that useful for, is probably a street photographer, if there's any of you guys out there still left as street photographers. And that's because obviously it's compact and it's powerful and you can utilize it to be discreet and take some photos of homeless people or whatever you take photos of as a street photographer. I'm just joking, man. Now let's get into why I would recommend this camera for video usage as a professional. And I know a lot of you called me out. This guy's not a professional, LOL. It's okay, buddy. No worries. Just check out my other videos, watch them. You can see what kind of professional work I do if you don't believe me. Watch the videos all the way to the end. If you see any ads, please click them for me. Much appreciated. Let's jump into this. It's definitely better than a Temu camera. I can tell you that for sure. Now, I still got to edit the footage and the photos, but it's probably better than a Temu camera. So if you haven't watched my last video, I rented the Fuji X100 Mark VI for just a day, meaning I only had it for like 6 hours, and I took it to a real shoot in conjunction with my Canon R5 and my R6 Mark II, which I predominantly used for photos. I used the Fuji X100 Mark VI for photo and video, and the photo, I wasn't too pleased about it for many reasons. Again, watch the other video. For video, I shot video, and if I was just focusing on video, I would put it between my two current favorite video cameras. And my main favorite is this big boy right here. It's the Blackmagic full frame 6K. Come on, focus on that. Focus on that guy. Okay, it's focusing on my eye. My second most favorite camera, which was like the camera of the year according to a lot of YouTubers, which means it's legit, is the Osmo Pocket 3. Wow. And why do I love these? Because they each serve a different function. The Blackmagic is a professional camera, has the RAW, has all that good stuff, meaning if I'm shooting a commercial, if I'm shooting a talking head, something legit, I would use that camera. If I'm running around doing some kind of quick content creation, I'd use the Osmo Pocket. Now, why would I buy the Fuji X100 Mark VI? Well, because I can use it in between these two cameras. Is this really that quality that you'd use on a wedding? Or probably not, because not only is the autofocus maybe not as fast, but it only has one memory card. And you can't really shoot a wedding with one memory card because if someone on YouTube finds out, they're going to cancel you. What do we use video for predominantly? So we used to shoot a lot of weddings and then we kind of moved into the commercial world. For weddings, at least during the ceremony, at least during the important stuff, we have at least two main cameras going. So they might be two, let's say A7S Mark IIIs if we were shooting Sony, but we're not, we're shooting Canon. So it'll be two like R5s, R6 Mark II, C70, something like that, two cameras, right? And then we'd have a third or fourth camera, let's say a C camera or D camera, shooting really wide in the highest resolution possible so that we can pan it during post or that we can crop in if we need to. That's the use of it. So we've predominantly during the past few years used GoPros, GoPro 2 all the way to GoPro 11. And then we transitioned to the Osmo 4 because you can shoot with the GoPro 5.7K, with the Osmo 4K, and it'd get good enough quality, at least mostly outdoors. GoPro suffered indoors, but outdoors it'd get good enough quality where we can crop in. Clients can't tell what camera it was, and it serve our use. And they're going to tell your clients that this guy only shot with one memory card. Although that's what I use when I shoot with the Blackmagic. The Blackmagic only has one memory card. But shh, Don't tell the people on YouTube. Downfall to that was before they weren't 10-bit, they weren't good quality, the sensors were small. It just wasn't cost effective really to get a better camera than that for a C or D cams, or sometimes our E cams, whatever we used it for. With this camera, if you don't know, this camera shoots 6K, which is great. Let me show you some 6K footage that we got. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go to this water fountain here, and we're gonna try to see what 240 frames looks like with the water. It also has stabilization, although we wouldn't use the stabilization for our use, but it does have stabilization, and it does have creamy bokeh. If you're looking at it, if you're trying to shoot like a talking head, you can get the bokeh from it. The dynamic range is okay, so not amazing. I'd say maybe on par with Canon R7, because R7 is also a cropped sensor camera. If right now, as you're watching, the stabilization wasn't turned on, but then I turn it on. So stabilization works. Don't think it doesn't. Stabilization is fine. Not Panasonic level, but I'd say equivalent to the R6 Mark II A7 IV. Aside from that, what am I looking for? I am looking for a camera in this day and age, in 2024, that can shoot 4K or 6K. This does the 6K. That has good enough dynamic range, which this does, that can last more than 30 minutes. And this does. My R5 still does not last more than 30 minutes. My R6 Mark II does, but my R5 does not. I haven't shot slow-mo yet, and it has a really cool slow-mo feature. So let's try that. Let's go to high speed record, take that to 240p at full HD. So obviously it's not going to be 4K. The camera also shoots super slow motion, shoots 120 and I believe 240. I believe that what you're looking at right now was shot in 240. Although it's a little bit soft. So I wouldn't use the 240, the slow motion, the super slow motion, unless I was showing off to the two friends I have and telling them, hey, like, look, we can shoot some slow motion of me throwing something at your face. Other than that, not really useful, at least not for me. This shot right here, I believe, is 120. I'm just trying to crop around him to see if the autofocus keeps up. And the autofocus struggles a little bit, but we're shooting at the 2.0 or whatever it is. And it's a Fuji, so it's not supposed to have, I guess, the best autofocus. That's what the YouTube comments wrote. They said if you're using a Fuji, you have to be a very slow photographer, very slow shooter. So I guess that goes to that. We're using it to have the 6K, to be able to crop, to be able to pan. Unlimited time shooting, which it does. I can shoot more than 30 minutes, no issue. I didn't shoot for hours on end with this, so I don't know what the max is, but I'm pretty sure for hour and a half ceremonies, this is going to be totally fine. I don't foresee this overheating either, although there might be other people who have done extensive tests, or no one's done a test in the summer yet, so we don't know if it's going to overheat or not. I am mostly looking for this. Let me show you what I am looking for. I am looking for, when I shoot, or if I have one of my shooters using my camera and they shoot it a little bit overexposed, or they can't really tell, they can't really gauge the histogram on the camera, although I didn't see a histogram on this camera, they may overexpose, right? Can I go back and get enough of the quality back to be able to recover it? And with a lot of the older cameras, I remember during the 5D Mark IV days, you couldn't really do that. I struggle to even do this with the R5, but with this camera, when I go in, I am taking the highlights right now from 0 all the way down to 70, 73. I am taking the shadows down. I can also go to the curve right here. We can decrease the curve a little bit, add a little bit, maybe contrast that way. And I'm looking at, are the highlights screwed up? Highlights are not. Is there now significant noise in the shadows? There is not significant noise in the shadows. Therefore, I can recover footage fairly well. It is useful to me. It is usable to me if I were to use this for professional usage. And this is only 4K. It's not even the 6K. This was a little bit low light. This was, I think, ISO 3200 when the sun had pretty much set and we were just shooting some walking shots. This was in one of the film simulations. So that's why the colors might look a little bit more saturated, might look a little bit more punchy. It's not in its F-log, and there's another plus. It does have F-log, which is what we would use it for. We would want to shoot in log so that we can match it to all our other cameras. You can see that it loses focus here and there, which again might be my user error for not having it in the right setting. But quality-wise, I didn't really notice much grain, much noise in the shadows, so it made it usable for me. So again, this was completely blown out sky. Let me show you. This is what it looked like. This is how it was recovered. And I can take the shadows up a little bit. We can add a little bit of contrast. I decrease the curves a little bit. And if we add a little bit of warmth in there, it looks pretty good. It looks definitely obviously better than a GoPro. It looks better than a Osmo. It should. It's triple the price. And it's a modern 2024 camera, so it should do fairly well. Again, I may have been shooting in one of the film simulations in this. So on the other side, when I was exposing for the sky so I can see the detail in the sky, the blacks and the shadows are crushed. They're not really recoverable if they're crushed. So I'm taking the shadows all the way up right now. Yeah, the blacks, the shadows are gone. I can't bring those back. So what I would do is perhaps overexpose a little bit if I was shooting video with this rather than underexpose. Again, I don't see myself using this as an A camera or even as a B camera. I see this as being an awesome C camera or D camera. So if you're shooting this, if you're doing weddings, this is an awesome C or D camera. If you're shooting commercials, I think this is an awesome BTS camera, which is again what we would use the Osmo and the GoPros for. So why wouldn't I switch out? Let me actually show you guys this versus the Blackmagic. So this is Blackmagic. Can you tell, is this the Fuji camera or is this the Blackmagic? Is this the Fuji camera or is this the Blackmagic? Can you tell? Well, this one I missed the focus apparently, but this one here is the Fuji and it looks really good. So this is obviously 4K 60p. And I was just trying to match it with the Blackmagic, but obviously I screwed up the focus here. Did I get any of it? So as you can see, I tried to match the bokeh too, but the Blackmagic is full frame. So that might be why you're seeing a little bit more blur here than the Fuji. But hey, you can kind of match them. Look at his shirt. His shirt looks a little bit more accurate and saturated than the Blackmagic. But again, it could be the film simulation that we're adding to the FujiFilm right now. It just could not be. I thought it said accurate, whatever the accurate one is, but it could be off. His skin tones look fine. I see a little bit more dynamic range in the Blackmagic. Looks a little over sharpened again in the Fuji. But I mean, I guess we're going to expect that with the codecs that it offers because it doesn't offer any RAW that would get rid of all that. So all in all, it's a good camera. It matches kind of well to at least the Blackmagic, which is the king of the hill right now. So the reason I wouldn't buy this right now is because solely of the price. It is still too expensive for what it is. So I cannot justify spending $1,600 on a mediocre photo camera and a great video camera. If this camera were $1,200, I'd say instant buy for the video capabilities alone. If this goes down in price, if this goes on a sale, or if this becomes if I find it used for like $1,200, $1,300, I would buy it. If something else comes out that is also like a point and shoot that maybe has, I think Sony probably has something similar to this coming out. I think it's the RX100 series or something like that. If they come out with something that would at least maybe have the 10-bit, but similar specs, I don't need the dial. I don't need that stuff. I'm not a hipster. Just kidding. Don't get upset. I'm not a hipster. I don't need that stuff. So if I have a functional camera that's lightweight, that has the specs, that is loaded like this, I would buy it, but I probably wouldn't buy it at $1,500, $1,600. I would buy it a little bit less than that. So this is kind of my review on the Fujifilm. And it has time code. Whoa, time code. Not that we so use cool. Time code, yeah. Now I just turned on the extra boost for...
What does that do?
So it should make this very, very stabilized. So we're gonna see. So also the other thing I don't like, when you look at the play button, the play thumbnail, it has the Sony thumbnail, the one that's really crap quality, which I am not a big fan of. So you know that it has the fixed lens. Again, so do GoPros, so do Osmos. You know what the capabilities are. You know the quality of this. I say rent it. If you are going to get upset about a review on YouTube and you have buyer's remorse, you can still send the camera back from wherever you bought it. It's been 30 days. Or you can sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Or if you're on the fence, you're trying to buy this camera and you're like, should I buy this camera? Just rent it first or buy it from someone that's not going to charge you the 20% restocking fee so you can, buy it and return it if you don't like it. Because if you're buying it for fun, then I challenge you, $1,600 for fun is a little steep, isn't it? Unless you guys that watch YouTube are all just a bunch of rich people. And then for professional usage, I don't think it's up to par for this to be a camera or B camera. You can get any of the other Canon or Sonys that are around this price point, or even the other Fujis, the X-T5, X-T4. You can buy those for under 2,000 with a lens as well if you're open to the used market. The Blackmagic doesn't have that, does it? No.
As in a playback?
Well, not playback, but 240 frames per second. I don't think the Blackmagic has it. I think it peaks at 120. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next triggering video.